Hello my friends, welcome back to Legacy of the Void Randomizer. I wanted to say that I usually just after destroying Shakuros, blitz on out of there because there's not much to do, but there's an exploded planet here and that's really cool. Also, why is it not moving? Like, if the planet exploded, these chunks should be like floating out this way, right? I mean, there's no friction stopping them. I don't know, like these guys, they're going in the right direction. But Mr. Chunky over here, he ain't doing the right thing. Anyway, we are heading up to Ulnar, which is going to get us our first little set of fighter craft. Whoa, that's loud. Our first little set of fighter craft, and that's going to be interesting. I don't exactly know how it's going to go. I'm a little bit anxious about it because I have a feeling we're going to get a lot of wraiths. Let's just be honest here. It's going to be a lot of wraiths. However, having the ability to hit ground is actually going to... Oh, these are good. I mean, the Corruptor is not great, but the Liberator is an amazing pick. Let's see. We have the Nexus Overcharge ability, which is okay. It is not as good as getting some Auto Gas. Auto Gas would have been the ideal one for this mission because it's so gas sensitive. We can put Mr. Mitochondria up here. He is the powerhouse of the neutral creeps. And then we're going to start getting this expansion up. I am 85 damage. Oh, Liberators. The Liberator in multiplayer is too busted to be in the StarCraft campaigns. It is actually one of the very few units that got nerfed from the campaign into PvP, which is a really interesting thing to think about, isn't it? Everything else in the game is effectively this insane monster unit in the campaign, and then the Liberator is like perfectly viable in Nova Covert Ops, and it's so much worse than its equivalent in Legacy of the Void multiplayer. So what do we got here? We have a Mirage. The Corruptor has a corruption ability which increases damage taken. That ability has changed a couple times, so it's always good to make sure you know what's going on. And these are 150, 50, and 4, which is surprisingly supply intensive and surprisingly gas unintensive. And it looks like we have to get a forge for these upgrades. All in all, I think this is actually going to go a lot better than I initially thought. Let's go grab some of the gas around the map with this Adept while we're just waiting around for things to happen. I know there's a gas here. And then I think there's a gas right here because they give you a little vision of that area initially so that you can figure that out. Yeah. Here we go. And then usually there's some gas you can grab right here via a Blink Stalker. However, I don't have one of those. Okay, we'll pull back. I don't want anything bad to happen. I have a feeling Mr. Liberator is just going to free me from all of my worldly problems, which I'm more than okay with. And then we're going to need to start getting some assimilators up.
Where shall we march?
Yeah, okay. The AI... Yep. I mean, this seems balanced, right? Just a permanent force field of doom. Not entirely sure what to do about that. I think I'm just going to unsiege the Liberator because that doesn't quite feel fair. And I do want to actually have a challenge inside of this mission. Oh, maybe I'm just going to lose my stuff. The Mitoscarab has gone down. We do not have a lift available yet. We can move over here. Oh, I didn't pick this, so I forgot that I had it. Well, that's my fault. We can corrupt that guy, make him take a little bit of extra damage, and then we're going to get a couple Stargates out. What is the build time on this? 60 seconds! Alright, we're going to need like 6 Stargates to actually produce everything. I'm still not sure about these build times. Okay. So they have the Titanic Warp Prism. How's that gonna go? I think it'll be fine. What I might do is actually put the Liberator over here. Because this area is big enough that the enemy can actually like fight on the periphery and stuff. They won't just get stuck. And I want to be able to use the Liberator for its intended role. However, I don't want to cheese the enemy out of it. Okay. Put this here, put this here. And it is almost time to start production. We're going to need a lot of supply structures though. Just an astronomical number of them in order to keep up with this. Because 4 supply means that actually we're going to max out with a pretty bad army. You know? I'm making sure to get those upgrades as fast as possible in order to try to facilitate a better army in the long term. Just because, yeah, it's going to be pretty bad. Okay, that's a lot of Reapers. I got a Reaper. Oh my. We got to pull back to this overcharge. Yep, okay. Oh, the Corruptor's down. Oh gosh, everything is down. Man, I'm absolutely getting owned. It turns out that when the mission is designed around you being able to permastone the enemies, then if you can't do that, life's actually pretty tough. Well, you live and learn, right? Hopefully you live. Sometimes you restart and learn. Let's try to avoid that for today, though. Got a couple more Stargates because I do feel like I'm going to need them. And then hopefully we can end this mission moderately quickly. This is one that can really drag on if things start to go poorly. So that is the goal to avoid, is a super, super long duration grind fest. Also don't want to mine these out. They have 2,400, which is a decent amount, but I have definitely mined this map out before multiple times. Destroyer. Ooh, that's not very good. Also Warp Prism, which I guess is going to soak attacks because I don't have a better use for it. One thing to think about is that while these are effective, or they say that they are 150 minerals and 50 gas, because it costs 4 supply, it's actually 200 minerals and 50 gas that you're paying the first time because you have to buy these pylons. It's half of a pylon every single time. We're just going to get 2-2 while we wait. Half of a pylon is a lot. However, once we're remaxing, it doesn't present itself as an issue because you get the discount. It's a very interesting dichotomy, it's a very interesting mechanic that you have going on for very supply intensive units. This has proven itself, for example, if any of you guys are old enough StarCraft players to remember the Stefano Roach Max era. What he would do is he would basically try to max out as fast as possible off of 3 base roaches with 3 gas geysers. And the reason that it worked really well is he would just keep going roaches over and over and over after that. And it was insanely powerful, largely because he would lose the first wave of roaches a lot of the time. But then the roaches were a lot cheaper, just off of the fact that he wasn't paying for the depots and stuff. Oh, they missiled my workers! Yeah, when you don't have to pay for the overlords, the roach is a much cheaper unit because it effectively is costing a third more minerals the first time that you buy it. You're paying 25 worth of supply depots and 75 minerals, but then you just keep that rally going over and over. It was a very fascinating style. It worked very well, and it was really tough to play against. All right, Warp Prisms, do some tanking. Okay, this is actually working legitimately well because the destroyer count is so high, which is amazing. And we can get overseers here, which I feel like is a big ripoff. We're going to have to look at these tiers. So one of the things is that it was okay to have whiffs in the previous campaigns because there were other factors keeping you alive. Wings of Liberty being that it is not as hard of a campaign numerically. And Heart of the Swarm, you always had that hero unit available to you. So your units didn't matter as much. However, getting if you pay 4 supply, does the Overseer really cost 4 supply? We're going to have to look at this. I hope it doesn't cost 4 supply. That'd be so bad. Let me kill an Overseer. 133. No, it doesn't. Okay, so as soon as it pops out, the supply cost is refunded. That is good to know. Let's move over here, make sure that we don't lose anything. Try to take all this down. Mr. Muta is going to kill all of his friends. That's fine. That area that I spent so long trying to capture is already gone. This is 9 Stargates that I can produce out of. This is too much. 2 base 9 Stargate. Banking up a little bit of money because I'm queuing stuff. Need to get rid of these. I'm going to send them into the void. There's not really anything to... This tier sucks. Maybe it is a tier that is more designed to work in tandem with other stuff. The destroyers are actually fairly good for this price, as are the mutas. But the medevacs aren't doing anything for me. Okay, the Corsairs are really good values. This is a... Okay. My opinion is this is the most swingy of the tiers that we have seen so far. Some of the units are real good, and some of the units are next to useless. I could have sworn that the medevac was on like the spellcaster tier for this, but I must have been mistaken. That is a mistake on my part from my original designing of the tiers. It went through a couple different revisions, and it might be worth going back to the original intent now that things are Legacy of the Voidified. It is doing okay, though. We have 5 destroyers. 6 destroyers. Okay, we're going to keep going. We're going to kill the Titanic Warp Prism with destroyers. Why not? The Banshees are the ones actually doing the heavy lifting here, and I am truly giving all the credit to the destroyers, which is unfair. It is straight up unfair. I try to give due respects to units a lot of the time when they do cool stuff. But when you have destroyers, you have to try to give them credit, even when it's not due, because it's the best thing they'll ever do.
We must be cautious.
Oh, he lived. Good job, Muta. Oh my gosh, they captured this lock. Okay, we're going to go to the middle, and then we're going to go capture this lock. I don't really feel like I can split my army. It's just not good enough. Not at this point. Let's fire some missiles over here. I'm not seeing any of the enemy seeker missiles, which is a good thing to note. And then we're going to rescue this, and we're actually going to clear these 2 locks as well. And then keep going. If you've never played Pure Air on this mission before, I highly advise it. It's actually pretty fun. If you use the Solar Lance ability, you can take down Archons, and Phoenix can literally deal with everything else, and then you don't have to deal with ground attack waves at all, or rather, ground attack paths at all, which feels really nice. And the anti-ground on this mission is kind of insane, so being able to trivialize it is not a small thing. Alright, now we're going to swing over to the super duper void guy, kill the carrier with the corruption ability, and then destroyers are going to absolutely annihilate the void rays because they're better. Just straight up better. Look at this bounce damage. It's insane. There's 6 of them bouncing. That's how powerful it is. It's so good. What are we going to get? Uh-oh. Oh, I didn't get anything. Well, that's a shame. Okay. Darn, darn, darn. It's okay. It'll be fixed by next mission, I am sure. I believe. One interesting question is, during the no-build missions, are we going to get big reinforcement sets? Because that would be fun in the next mission to have some. Oh, look at that. The Void Ray, even though it's flying, won't move into the anti-ground zone on the Liberator. Yeah, there's definitely some AI stuff that needs to be done with the Liberators. It is not quite working as it was envisioned, but it should be pretty easy. Because I'm pretty sure that what actually needs to be done here is that the AI of dodging the Liberator zone needs to be removed. Because what it's basically considering that AI, or what that zone to be, is like an active psi storm that's permanently on. But the threat level's not the same. Like, you have to go through it eventually because that psi storm's never ending, you know? It's interesting. I love learning little things about the AI like this. I also love having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 medevacs. Perfect. And we're just going to play Whack-A-Lock for a while. Eventually we'll be able to capture the locks faster than the enemy can take them. And we're going to move up here. This is going to be because the pre-placed defenders are gone, so it's going to be easier and easier to move through. What do you guys think? Should air transports be their own tier? Except for the Hercules, because Hercules on capital ship is annoying, but it's the only way to make that tier fair. I don't know. It's a tough one. Because when I've been forced to use the Hercules, I've actually enjoyed it quite a bit, but when you don't want to use the Hercules, it's very annoying. However, getting the medevacs and stuff here it's a bit of a raw deal. Well, definitely one thing we could do is move the medevac to the support spellcaster tier. Then you'd only have one transport you could possibly roll on this tier. And having one feel bad or one low roll would be a lot more reasonable, I think, than having multiple in that regard. And then, yeah, Overseers need some work. This is too many Overseers. We're learning. 1, 2, 3. I don't want to deal with it. I don't think we would have died to it or anything, but I do want to eventually get this mission done, and my anti-ground DPS is so bad. It's like Scout Destroyer, right? Oh, dealt with all that. Let's try to... Whoa. We have 2 more to take. Let's see if we can do it. You go this way. Oh, can we? Yeah, let's drop some of these guys and see how changelings interact with this objective. Usually the way that it works is cloaked units cannot be used to take the objective pieces or to hold them if the enemy is there. However, these are not cloaked units. And I don't know if the enemy knows how to deal with them, so this might actually be... we gotta see, right? Can we just send these to the end? They'll morph into Protoss, and then they'll be able to walk through. Huh? I don't think changelings work. The enemy might be a little bit too intelligent for that strategy. Okay. Well, that's probably for the best. Imagine if you could just roll Overseers on this mission, though. Walk them to all the points and just walk right through and capture them. That would be the greatest way to speedrun this mission. Oh, that'd be beautiful. This was a distractionary pylon. Yeah, they're killing it. Darn, darn, darn. Well, let's try to open this area up. That's actually really interesting that the enemy just knows changelings. I wonder if you're playing against the AI, like when you just set up a game, is the enemy able to very easily identify things like changelings there? Or do they get confused? I don't actually know how that works because I don't do a lot of playing versus the AI, and changelings are not a unit that I ever have. Does anybody know? I would love to have a little bit more info about that. Oh my gosh, that is double carrier, isn't it? I don't think we're going to win this fight. Let's do our best. I would have thought they would do something like, if the enemy has detection, then they can kill. You know, like some arbitrary rule to make it so changelings can kind of work. But I know that the AI has also evolved a lot over time, and things definitely could have changed. So yeah, this mission, pretty clean. It was definitely a bit long, but that's okay. And there are a couple things on this tier that I think need changing in order to make it a bit smoother of an experience, so you don't feel horrible about your rolls and you don't need 9 Stargates on 2 bases. So, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I know it was a little bit more mechanical than other ones in terms of just figuring out how to get stuff working, but that's part of why we're here, right? Is I want to make sure that these mods are tested, robust, and really fun for you guys to play. And this is part of it. So thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace.